Embracing eclectic.
Full-time RV family. Full-time RV family.
Hey, what's up, YouTubers?
Hi.
Hey, we just went on a Wisconsin duck tour and took the original ducks and got to ride in one of these bad boys here. Really cool experience, right, guys?
Nice corny jokes.
Nice corny jokes. And this thing is equipped to go on land and water. Really cool. So we were able to sit first row there, and we got a good view for you along the trail of we went through the Wisconsin River, the lower Dells part. Lake Delton. We went into Lake Delton, and we take you along with us in this video here. Another cool little side note is these guys are actually equipped with the good old 5.9 Cummins, which is the same engine as our RV, which is sounding nicely familiar as we were riding, the smells and everything, the fumes and all. But yeah, really cool experience. Hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.
Please subscribe. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Bye.
How'd you guys all like your tour?
Awesome!
I am just joking there. Just a couple of really quick things that I do have to go over with you all before we do get underway today. Today. However, I guess what I'm really trying to say here is please don't take those statues for granted. That's right. Now, if you did not like that joke, it'd be an awfully long tour for you. That was my best one. Did I lose anybody back there? Not this time, huh? Well, if you do feel yourself falling overboard today, just make sure that you hang out tightly to the person sitting next to you. And then take them overboard as well, because I am not required to stop for just one person. And it does look like we have another sign of wildlife off on the left here, if you can all see that. It's actually just a baby. Trying to give you on the left-hand side there. That's right, folks, we do have a little baby stop sign down here on the left. I know, they are so cute when they're young. just like that, we have now descended down into the beautiful fern belt. Now, fern belt here is actually home to 27 different types of ferns, including the green fern, the red fern, the orange fern, the elephant, the walk fern, the talking fern, the cinnamon fern, the standing fern, the Wisconsin fern, the Illinois fern, Phoenician fern, the repeating 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 fern, the interrupting fern, the repeating fern, and also off on the left-hand side here, the rarely seen but always beautiful invisible fern. Did you guys see that one? I mean, either now you might have noticed a slight drop in temperature as we entered Ferndale today. That's actually for two reasons. Number one, the lush canopy of trees overhead blocks out a lot of our sunlight. And number two, these sandstone cliffs off on either side of us lock in moisture and act as a natural air conditioner. And at any point in the day, it can be 10 to 12 degrees cooler down here in Ferndale. And well, that makes us some of the coolest people in all of the Wisconsin Dells. Well, there you have it, everybody. The Pacific Ocean. I know it's a lot smaller in person, however, as we do enter the Wisconsin River today, it might feel a little bit bumpy. So go ahead and please brace the seat back in front of you. And with your other hand, plug your nose. And just like that, we are now about to float the Wisconsin River. If you look off on either side of the duck in the water, I have just disengaged our wheels, and they are now slowly sinking to the bottom. And so I really hope we don't need those later. And just a couple of facts about the Wisconsin River that we will be traveling down today. It's actually considered to be the hardest working river in the entire nation, as it does flow 432 miles diagonally across the state of Wisconsin through 27 different hydroelectric dams before it empties out into the Mississippi River in Prairie du Chien. Those 27 hydroelectric dams power over 200 communities here in the state of Wisconsin, and the very first hydroelectric dam ever installed on the Wisconsin River was right here in the Dells. And that dam is known as the Kilgore Dam, located 2 miles upstream. It was built back in 1909, and it is still in operation today. Of the tour today, so if you can look at the left-hand side of the duck here, following the shoreline on down, you might see that mushroom-shaped rock emerging from in between the trees down there. Now that rock is known as Pulpit Rock, and the reason we call it Pulpit Rock is because there is an old story. It says that there used to be a traveling preacher who would give a sermon out there on top of Pulpit Rock to the raftsmen that were passing by below. However, that preacher was a very long-winded preacher, and so naturally all those raftsmen became very bored. They fell asleep, and then they floated on down the river. That did not make that preacher very happy though, so the very next day he went into town and he purchased a baby grand piano and he brought it out there on top of Pulpit Rock. And for the next sermon, he incorporated a little bit of music. However, as soon as he stopped playing that piano and he started talking again, the raftsmen became very bored once more. They fell asleep again and then they floated on down the river. And that actually made that preacher so mad that he jumped up and down on top of Pulpit Rock until he completely split in half, as you can see off on the left-hand side of our duck there. However, he was not done there because he then took the baby grand piano and he shoved it off the right-hand side of Pulpit Rock, where it still sits today, with one leg propped up against Pulpit Rock and the keys facing the heavens. But can you all see that baby grand piano up on the right-hand side of Pulpit Rock there? Yeah, there you go. Now, how many people believe my story about Pulpit Rock? Now, once people ask me, does that piano still play any music? The answer is yes, it does. However, for some reason, it will only play hard rock. Folks, now that we are out on the open water here, you guys ready to see what this thing can really do?
Yeah.
Yeah? Alrighty, here we go, hang on. Yeah, that's about it, sorry. I'm swinging around here to give you the other side, a good view as well. But can you all see Hawks Peak out there on the right-hand side of the duck? Now, I did say most famous rock formation on the tour today, and that is one of the most photographed views here in the Dells. However, it was initially made famous during the cover of Life magazine back in 1965, which did bring a lot of attention and business to the area. And also worth noting, directly below Hawks Peak there is the deepest point in the lower Dells, as it is about 50 feet deep. River today, you may notice these beautiful sandstone cliffs on either side of us. Those cliffs are actually made up of a very rare form of sandstone, which is known as Potsdam sandstone. Now, Potsdam sandstone is actually so rare that it's only found in 4 places in the entire world. So number 1 is Potsdam, Germany, where it gets its name from. Number 2 is Zurich, Switzerland. Number 3 is upstate New York. And number 4 would be this 10.5-mile stretch of the Wisconsin River. Potsdam sandstone is a very brittle rock, so if you were to walk up to it and break a piece off, you would have absolutely no problem crumbling it right in the palm of your hand. However, because it is so soft and brittle, it does retain a lot of water, so on either side of the river today, you'll see trees and shrubs growing right out of the top of that sandstone with little to no topsoil. That is because they are rooted directly on top of the rock there, and they get all the water that they need from the sandstone itself. You may have also noticed that the Wisconsin River is not exactly a pretty blue color like you might have expected. It's actually more of a brown or tannish color. That is actually not due to mud or pollution, as a lot of people think. That is because the Wisconsin River flows through tamarack swamps in northern Wisconsin. The tamarack trees secrete an acid, which is known as tannic acid or tannin, that is responsible for dyeing the river that color brown. However, tannic acid is not harmful to you, me, or the environment, which a lot of major companies use tannic acid as a natural color dye in drinks that we all commonly consume. So you will find tannic acid inside of coffee, tea, Coca-Cola, root beer, and also my personal favorite, the bottle of Jack Daniels that I finished off before we started the tour. A drastic change in scenery, and that is actually the site of one of the worst natural disasters to ever hit the state of Wisconsin. So on June 9th, 2008, the Wisconsin Dells received a record amount of rainfall, which caused a man-made Lake Delton that sits just on the other side of that hill and highway there to rise up 51.5 inches. Now, that extra water had to go somewhere though, so it found the weakest point, which just happened to be right here. Then it completely burst through the highway, taking out all of the trees, pavement, soil, and 5 vacation homes that were in the way, and it washed all of that on downriver. It only took about 2.5 hours for 267 acres of Lake Delton to completely empty into the river where we are sitting right now. And if you do look up on the left-hand side there where the sand meets the trees, it is the high water mark, so that should give you a pretty good idea of just how high that water was. side of the duck here, a little bit farther on down the road, we are going to see the W.J. Newman Dam. Now, the W.J. Newman Dam was built back in 1927 to hold back the rushing waters of Delton, forming man-made Lake Delton. There's a common misconception that when the lake breached back in 2008 that it was the dam's fault. However, that is completely untrue, as on that day, the dam was letting out 20% more water than initially thought possible. However, just to be on the safe side of things, the city of Lake Delton added an 80-foot spillway off on the right-hand side at a cost of $1.5 million to prevent anything like that from ever happening again. And this is also a great opportunity for you to take all of the damn pictures that you would like. Everybody, how do we want to go into Lake Delton today? Fast, slow, or half-assed? Fast, all right. Keep in mind there might be a slight mist coming up over the front of the duck here. However, that'll be nothing compared to the 50-foot tidal wave surging over the back. So if you do have any personal belongings on the ground that you would like to keep dry, I do suggest that you pick those up at this time, because anything that washes up to the front here by me, I get to keep and sell on eBay. That is, of course, except for small children, because I do not want those, and I will hand them right back to you. Also, if I could please ask everybody on board today to brace yourselves on the seat backs in front of you and hold on tightly. And here we go. There's that tidal wave I was talking about back there. So don't worry, if you did happen to get a little bit wet on the splashdown today, just remember this is a man-made artificial Lake Delton, therefore it does hold a fake water, and you are not really wet. So, just to give you a little bit of a better idea of where we actually are on Lake Delton today, if you do look out the front of the duck there, the opposing shoreline, you might see that brown building with the green roof. That is actually wilderness on the lake. The three towers over here on the right-hand side up above the tree line are from the Tippavati Wildlife Park. The cabins back on the right-hand shoreline there are the Kalahari cabins on Lake Delton. And if you all do me a favor and look directly out the back of the duck, you will notice that has absolutely nothing to do with our tour today. Just wanted to give you all the rare opportunity to go home and tell your friends that you looked out the rear end of the duck. On the right-hand side here is going to be the best view that you will get all day of where that breach happened. So where those purple rocks are sitting now lining the shoreline used to sit those 5 vacation homes, and it did cost the city of Lake Delton $3.6 million to repair all the damage between the lake and the river. And once it was repaired and the highway reopened, it took the lake itself just under 6 months to completely refill with water. However, I was pretty fortunate myself on the day of the breach, because that water crossed over here on the right-hand side, and it just narrowly missed my vacation home off on the left. I'm pretty lucky. Now we have just entered the Lower Dells Scenic Park. And the Lower Dells Scenic Park here is home to many different types of wildlife, including the white-tailed deer, fox, squirrels, rabbits, turtles, penis, cougars, edigaga, banana, genies, eagles, and silkback, chipmunks, orioles, speedbug, lions, tigers, them over. Now, don't you worry, we'll go back for it. Everybody see the deer over there on the right-hand side? Oh dear. The deer here at the original Wisconsin Ducks are very well paid. Every time we see one, we tip them a couple of bucks. And they make a lot of dough. Wildlife. Directly ahead of us here is the Helen Robb tree plantation. When those forest fires swept through the Wisconsin Dells area in the early 1900s, they obviously took out a lot of our trees. However, Miss Helen Robb, the owner of Dawn Manor, was quite the environmentalist, so she came out and replanted all of our lost trees in the most natural way possible. Perfectly straight rows. Alright everybody, so coming up here on the right-hand side of the duck, you're going to see a series of 7 steel sheds where our ducks hibernate all winter, so that we can come out and party all summer long. For that tan shed in the middle, there's our duck hospital. We employ 7 year-round mechanics that we lovingly to refer to as the quack doctors. However, just like any good doctor would tell you though, you cannot save every single patient, so coming up ahead of us here is our duck graveyard. May they rest in pieces. Now, on behalf of everybody here at the original Wisconsin Ducks, I'd like to sincerely thank you all for coming out and taking my tour today. It is because of people like you bringing your business here to the Wisconsin Dells that I get to have such a cool job and call the Wisconsin River my office all summer long. Now, if you have enjoyed your tour today, well then please remember that my name is Nate and this duck is Frida. And if you did not enjoy your tour, well then my name is Rob and this duck is for you. I think I've said of all the tours I've ever given here at the original Wisconsin Ducks, you all are by far my most recent. One last thing as we do return here today, please just remain seated. I will be the first one on the far duck in the back to make sure that we are lined up and at a safe exit. However, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day here at the Wisconsin Dells. Please drive safe, and we hope to see you back soon for another tour.
Thanks for watching.
Please subscribe. Please subscribe.
And please subscribe.